Hey everybody, I'm that girl goddess. Um, as you see, I'm at work, always working 2 jobs. Oh my God. Oh well, you know what? Can't give up. Got to keep going. Got to maintain. Got to put something to the side, cause them days be coming. Them days when you need money, and it seems like when it rains, it pours, and if it ain't one thing, it's another. But I tell people just keep hanging in there and being consistent. Consistency brings about change and elevation. So whatever it is you're doing, you could have just moved in a house, you could have bought a house, and the house is just totally filthy. Take one room at a time, one garbage bag at a time. Fill it up, get it out, keep pushing. Because eventually it's going to be completely clean. When I talk to people about consistency, I'm not even just talking about our daily labors that we do, like our housework or rearing the children. But rearing the children, consistency is very important. People talk about discipline, and I have to disagree with the government. There's a difference between abuse and discipline. Okay, as we went through this last 3 generations, well, I'm gonna say they call them Gen Z, but these all these babies born past the 80s, most of them are ruined because of the lack of discipline and consistency. You can't raise them today and be friends with them tomorrow. When they in this stage between understanding and understanding, you got to make them understand and prepare them for life, because they can get grown as a 18 years of age or 21 years of age, 25, either one you want to consider truly grown. But just because they of age don't mean they are mature. When we are an adult, we have to put away childish things. That means when you 16, 17, and I'm going to say your first couple of years of college, you may hang out and everything. You ain't thinking about it. You just living the life. But when you grow up in your mind, you'll recognize while you're in school, college, or whatever, that it's not free. That you got to buckle down and pass some classes, okay? Because you're trying to get finished as soon as possible so you can be able to utilize the education that you have. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Society don't treat you good when you accomplish things. It's like we live in a society that's jealous. The moment you accomplish something, they want to ridicule, put you down, and give you a hard way to go. But even if they do, like Donnie McClurkin says, just stand. Keep pushing. And eventually you'll get a breakthrough. Okay? Keep moving forward. Okay? Because you eventually get to the finish line. I don't care if you crawl there. You may start off running, but just keep going. If you got to crawl through, just know you're going to make it. I'm going to tell you again, a lot of people, just because they're of age, don't mean they are mature. You know, we live in a selfish age where fathers want to keep their money in their pockets and not necessarily provide for their children or household. We live with a society where you have judges sitting on the bench for child support, and they don't even recognize the man's rights. They keep division going. Sometimes it's better not even to go to child support, but to work it out, because it's really for your children at the end of the day. It's what's best for your children. I don't care who you are, you're going to need the father at some point, a father figure. I know some of the father figures may have passed away, but you do need a man figure in the house, not just for the male children, but for the female children too. Because men know how men will treat a female when she's out there alone or vulnerable. And most of us, when we're young, we're very vulnerable because we believe the fairy tales that this guy's gonna ride in on he may not be on a horse, but he may be or a Porsche, and think that he's finna cater to you. A lot of people taught their daughters to just look for a man to give them something. But when someone gives you something, it comes at a price. The first thing you need to establish is yourself. You need to go out there and maintain a job. When you start maintaining the job, going to work on time, doing your assignment, that's a sign of maturity. But if you can't work because your friends and came to work and they got a bag and you got to go out and share it with them, that's not maturity. Maturity is, even if you have a bag, you make sure that you handle your business. Maturity is you recognize when you went to work, you have an assignment to complete. You don't put yourself in a position to be terminated. And when you consistently go to work, you'll consistently see a pay raise, a pay increase. When you first start off, you may not be able to afford the benefit package because a lot of people make you think it's free. Okay? When you first start going to work, you're going to have to save, pay back some of that money that you didn't have and bills you have on, and you're going to have to start saving. Yeah, clear some credit cards and prepare for them hard times, because no matter who we is, we're going to go through some hard times. Our life is not ordained just to enjoy the good times. When you grow up, you go through rough spaces, and it teaches you why you should operate in wisdom, why you should go to work consistently. We live in a generation, because they wasn't raised. They'll go to work, but they won't do the job. And then they'll quit for any reason. Talking about it's too hard. It wasn't too hard for anybody else. They went through generations of the business. Okay. I'm back. Okay, I'm talking about maturity. When you get a job, you got to recognize you got to keep that job. Jobs are not easy to come by. Sometimes you can live in town where people know each other. It's a small town, and a word to get around about you. Then you got to show yourself approved by God, no matter what. God is not going to open the doors with you if you constantly keep doing things and having very little gratitude for everything. When you're young, sometimes you just think you can get a job like this. But trust me, you can't. I mean, it seems like that for a minute, but if you only going to hold it for a minute, or you get a job of high turnover rate, how's that going to help you if you got to have bills? And a lot of people say, well, I can go home to my parents. Well, your parents having it hard too. They may have dedicated themselves to raising you, but that doesn't mean that they're going to continue or could afford to carry somebody full ground. There's nothing wrong living with your parents, stacking up and trying to prepare for life, but at the same time, you need to contribute. Everybody in the household needs to contribute to the household. Them days of acting like you're 5 years old and you don't have to pay for anything, your parents got it, it's over. It's foolish to even let the child think that, because at one point in life, you never know, your parents may not be here. Even if they're here, they can get sick and be down. Okay? We have to look at life for what it is, living for what it is. It's easy to have life because that's just breath in your body by the good Most High God. And I'm talking about consistency. You're going to have to, if you get your own, you're going to have to consistently clean your house. You're going to have to consistently evaluate everything, discern everything. You're going to have to consistently put up with people bad attitudes and know how to get around some people attitudes, because some of these bad attitudes may be your boss. Okay? It may be your parents, it may be your in-laws. It may be the nurse or the doctor. And I always tell people, you don't mess up things, get smart with a doctor, nurse, someone cooking your food, because their retaliation can be great. Okay? But the most important thing we need to know is that when we become adults, we have to put away childish things. A child cannot survive in an adult world. We're going to have to put away those things that's going to hinder us from being successful. And just because you go to college don't mean you don't have a lot of enemies, because people just think you better than them because you went to college. And that may not be the case, but you have a lot of people who haven't done something or won't do anything and don't want you to have anything. There's a lot of bad attitudes out there. There's a lot of people see you and they will be practicing witchcraft. Okay? You're going to be tested. You're going to be tried. You're going to have standing power. You're going to have consistency. You can't always fall down and wobble because you're going through. We all going to go through. You know, I tell people, best thing I can tell you is be consistent in raising your child and letting them know that when you get grown, you're going to have to keep that job and keep money in your pocket to be able to take care of yourself. Take care of these emergencies you don't plan for, like a snowstorm when the power's all out. You're going to have to be able to buy that generator. You can't keep putting it off. And you know you have snowstorms, because you can have a snowstorm, a blizzard, and it can be below zero and you can freeze to death. You can be in a place where you think you don't need AC in the southern states, and the index factor is 120, like China just went through, and people going outside in their sandals, and their sandals are melting. Their bare feet, skin is scorched with second and third degree burns. Okay? Sometimes we get a card that's more than what we can bear. That's why we prepare for catastrophes. You got to prepare for just in case that job lets you go. To let you go for no reason, or they just come in one day like I did, went to a job site, and the job site had a chain, a lock on the door. Oh my God. Okay, I still had bills to pay. Didn't have nowhere to go to, you know. But I just pressed on, went to crazy jobs. Some jobs I felt that I really didn't want to do. I felt was beneath me, but those were the very jobs that brought me through. I consistently work, consistently press in. I don't wait on nobody. You know, I'm a person always trying to find a solution to a problem and not be the problem. This is what this message is about consistency. I spoke more about raising the children because we had a generation where society told us not to discipline them, and that was abuse. Well, what happened is we have a bunch of spoiled adults that will not discipline themselves because they don't believe that they will ever have to deal with consequences. And as a result, a lot of them are strung out. A lot of them got HIV. A lot of them homeless, young people. A lot of them got diabetes because they wouldn't let go of sugar. It's a lot of things because of the lack of discipline. And it's hard. I tell people sometimes I want to go out and party too, but I know I got to keep that AC going. I got to keep the electricity on because I can't lose my food, okay, out my freezers and stuff. It's a lot of things. You got to consistently do the yard work to keep your property. And as an adult, we can't always just do the things we enjoy doing. We have to do the things that we don't enjoy doing. We got to be about it. Okay? That's maturity. And reason a lot of relationships fail is because people don't have the maturity to stop playing childish games, acting like they are 10-year-old. They ain't got to go to work. They ain't got to pay bills. They can gamble up with this. They can, you know. And don't nobody want to deal with you because it's too much weight on them to carry you. And you lose in a relationship that could really prosper into something nice. Okay? We got to consistently try to close our mouths sometimes. Because sometimes you can pay the cost of something you said for a mighty long time because you said it to the wrong person. You can call yourself snapping and getting smart and being that caring, as they say. And somebody can hit you so hard, you fall to the ground. Next thing you know, you done cracked your skull, your brain leaking out, and you have physical problems for the rest of your life because your brain is not sickling off. All that happened to you because you talk too much. I'm going to leave that here. I just want to briefly speak on consistency and discipline. I'm going to make this a series, talk about some things in so many different areas so we all can grow together. I want everybody to like, share, and subscribe. Come visit me. Let's talk about some things. Y'all have a blessed day, and I'm that girl goddess. Bye.